Yes, we're in. We're on. This is the Motorsport Madman, and this is the first session of the season. Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying. I have waited 3 long months for this. 3 long months to get to the first session for the first race of the season. I cannot wait. In fact, cannot wait is the biggest understatement of humankind, because this is the fucking driller. This is the season where it's all change. All change. We've had Mercedes domination from 2014 to 2020. Last year, Max steps it up. Red Bull step it up. Hamilton versus Verstappen. This year, this year, massive reset. Biggest reset of rules since 2009. Biggest reset in the rules since 2009. So you're talking this is the biggest reset for 13, 14 years. Mercedes struggling. Who's on top? Red Bull, Ferrari. Can Mercedes pull it back through the season? Don't know, mate. Yes, Jay. What are we saying? Are you up for this, Jay? Are you ready for this quali? Who's it going to be, Jay? Who's it going to be? Verstappen? Leclerc? Sainz? What are you saying? What are we saying? Can't wait for this, mate. Can't wait for this. Mercedes still bouncing up and down on the straights. The buzzword of the pre-season is porpoising because of the new ground effect. All the cars bouncing down the straights. But Red Bull sorted it out. No more bouncing for Red Bull. No more bouncing for Ferrari. But Mercedes, with their radical car design, radical no side pod design, mate, bouncing down the straights. Not good. Not good for downforce. Not good for cornering speed, mate. They're struggling. They're on the back foot, and the first time Mercedes have been on the back foot since 2013. So it's 9 years. This is the last time Mercedes were on the back foot 9 years ago, mate. We're in for a hell of a season here. Can't wait, bro. Norris on top. Yeah, but McLaren's struggling. McLaren seem to have some sort of brake issue because this year they've got the wheel covers. The heat can't get out of the brakes like they could last year. The heat's trapped within the wheel because they've got these wheel covers on, and McLaren are struggling, and Williams are struggling with getting this heat out of the wheel. So they're struggling reliability. So they haven't really, like in Norris doing his runs, mate. It's been 10 lap runs, 5 lap runs. He's back in the pits. Ricardo hasn't had any laps at all because he's had COVID. So Ricardo's just going back after having 0 laps. McLaren are on a bad setting at the minute. But they'll put it together as the year goes on. They'll pull it together. As will Mercedes. But who's the hot favourite here? It's going to be Verstappen against the 2 Ferraris, I feel. Also Alfa Romeo looking good, but again because they built their own gearbox for this season, they're struggling as well with reliability. So whilst Alfa Romeo and Bottas going to Alfa Romeo, we're all thinking he's going to be at the back of the pack. He might be top 10, but will he finish the race? Or will the car break down? We are going to see. What are we saying? Yes, Matty. Yes, Farhan. Yes, Simon. Been looking forward. Come on, Russell. Absolutely. Come on, Russell. I'm getting behind George Russell this year. I'm getting behind George Russell, Mick Schumacher. I like Pierre Gasly. I always like Pierre Gasly. But yeah, they're my main 2. Russell and Schumacher and Haas. Hey, they're not going to be at the back this year, he led. No. Haas, going to be midfield contenders. Midfield, here's the fucking tune here now. We're fucking on now. Bum, bum, bum. Fucking get this turned up. Get it fucking turned up, the lads. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Let's fucking have it. First qualifying session of the season. Let's go. Let's go. We've done testing. We've done practice. This is where it matters. This is where it matters now. This testing's finished. Practice done. We're on. Watch Lewis get knocked out in Q1. Watch Lewis get knocked out in Q1. Boom. Nah. He'll pull it out. He'll pull it out. Fucking here we go, the lads. Max, Leclerc, Gasly. Yeah. Hey Jay, if you like Max and Charlie boy, mate, they might be 1-2 in every race, lad. They might want 2 in every race. I'd love to see a championship battle between Max and Leclerc. We might get it. Maybe Sainz as well. Sainz. Can Perez put a championship battle on? Doubtful. I can see this year being Max against the 2 Ferraris, with Mercedes cling on. Mercedes try to catch up. But these times were from final practice. These times that are on the screen here, and Russell's actually not done too bad. Russell's only 4 tenths off the pace, which is the best Mercedes have looked since day one of the first test in Barcelona. So they'll claw it back. Mercedes, they're a massive outfit. They're 8-time in a row. Consecutive is the word I'm looking for. 8-time consecutive Constructors Champions. So you can never write out Mercedes. Mercedes will catch up. How quickly they will catch up is the question. Will Red Bull and Ferrari run away with it before Mercedes catch up? Or is Lewis going to be on, is George and Lewis, are they going to be on it by the 3rd race? Are they going to be in contention for wins? If they are, championship's still on, it's 23 race season, I think. 22 at the minute, because obviously Russia has been deleted, mate. So, but someone will step in, so another country will step in and have that race. So there'll still be 23 races this season, so long season. So Mercedes have got time. They've got time to catch up. Yes, JJ. What are we saying? I'm a Norris fan. I think them 3 for this quali. Oh yeah, big Norris fan, aren't you, Jay? Yeah, Norris. Struggling McLaren, but you never know. 1 lap pace might be there. It might go bang, top 5, and then see if they last the distance tomorrow, innit? But let's have a look. Kevin Magnussen's back, which is love to see him back. He's one of my favourites, actually, Kevin Magnussen. I feel like I'd race like Kevin Magnussen races, with fucking elbows out, not give a fuck. You want to try and pass me, mate? Pff, get in the fucking grass. You know what I mean? I feel like I'd be a bit like Kevin Magnussen. He gets his elbows out of him. Great to see him back with Haas. The look decent. Haas look from testing, from practice. They might struggle with reliability. They've not had that many laps in testing. But when they have got clear running, they're looking like top 10 material. If Magnussen or Schumacher can get a perfect lap, perfect sessions going, mate, they could pull off a surprise. Come on, Ricardo's had no laps. in the final test. Bin Hill. Lads, is Zhou Guan Yu. Zhou Guan Yu is the way you pronounce this first ever Chinese driver. But first out of the pits, one of the Williams, I think it's Nicholas Latifi first out, and the AlphaTauris are out. So we are underway for this very first official session, I should say, of the season. So I think it's 18 minutes of Q1, at the end of which the bottom 5 drivers will be knocked out. Then there is, I believe, a 15-minute Q2, which the next slowest 5 drivers will be knocked out. And then a final 12-minute Q3, which is the top 10 shootout going for pole position. So this is the first Q1 session, 18-minute session, I believe. And yeah, five slowest drivers at when the timer runs out are out, and their grid positions will be set. The other 15 drivers will go through to Q2 and so on. So it's all just about, this first session is just about avoiding being in the bottom 5. That's what it's all about. So they don't have to, if you're in a strong car, if you're in a Red Bull, you're in a Ferrari, you're not going to go balls to the wall giving it the full beans, because you can probably cruise through. But for the guys at the back, for the guys in the midfield and the back of the pack, you know, this is it. This is you got to give it every ounce you can give it to try and get through to Q2. Because for some of the teams at the back, getting through to Q2 is a big dub. But who is at the back? Who is at the back this year? We don't know yet. We're about to find out. I think Williams don't look great. Alpine aren't looking great. I can see a McLaren being knocked out in Q1 or a Aston Martin. But we'll see. I expect both Williams to go out here. So is this the first flying lap of the season then? Yuki Tsunoda. Here we go. D-lad. Yeah, we've got the two AlphaTauris are the first two to get on a flying lap. Oh, mate. So, come on then, lads. Who's going to be knocked out here then? I expect it to be the two Williams. I'd say both Williams. An Alpine. Ocon maybe gone. Stroll. Maybe a Haas. Or maybe a McLaren, maybe Ricciardo might, what I mean. Tsunoda around the final corner then. The first lap posted, 1:33.5 for Yuki Tsunoda. Beaten by Gasly, but Gasly goes half a second quicker than Tsunoda straight off the bat. So Tsunoda's looking like he's definitely going to have to improve on that, but that's alright because you've still got 14 minutes, haven't you? I have, haven't you? You have, haven't you? You've got 14 minutes to improve. Top guys are still, most people still sat in the pits at the minute. You've got about 7 or 8 cars out on track. Why is this timing not updating now? This should be on the live fucking timing. Hang on. Let me refresh the driller. There we go. That's it. Yeah, so you got both McLarens are out now, looking like they're on flying laps. Ricciardo and Norris both a tenth down on Gasly in the first sector. Ricciardo round turn 10. Still only the Alpha Tauri's posted a representative lap time at the minute. Still got half the field still in the pits. Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, all still in the pits. They've got to get on with it now though. 12 minutes to go. You got to get in a lap because someone makes a mistake, puts it in the wall, red flag or something. Whoa, you're in trouble then. Lando Norris sets the fastest middle sector so far, but there's not many been through it yet, so doesn't mean an awful lot at this point. Should put him. Oh, Ricciardo goes behind the Alpha Tauris. Lando Norris should go fastest though. Splits them. So it's still Gasly P1 at the minute. Gasly, Norris, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, but obviously the big boys haven't stepped out yet. But it looks like Verstappen now. The Red Bulls are on it now. Verstappen's gone purple. Sector 1. Purple, if you don't know, means faster than anybody. Green is personal best. And yellow is not your personal best. Not faster than anybody. Look at this. Verstappen 9 tenths up. Yeah, Verstappen's going to go P1 by a huge margin here early on in Q1. He looks like he might be about a second up here. So Gasly's on 33.0 and it is 1.1 seconds faster than Gasly. Verstappen and Red Bull looking very strong. What can Perez do now in the other Red Bull? Can he match Verstappen? He's gone purple in the middle sector. He's gone wide in the final corner though a little bit, Perez. And Perez half a second down on Verstappen. Standard. Yes, aways. How are we doing? Stroll going to go up for sure. Well, going to go out, you mean? Yeah. Usually. But it's not usual. This is a full reset this season, so you never know. How are we doing, aways? Yes then, lad. First qualifying session of the season. Absolutely buzzing for this. Wait till Q3 comes along. So, early doors in Q1. Oh, they're all queuing up now to try and get a lap. All queuing up now. Yeah, it can cause a bit of a mess. Everyone trying to get the perfect space to start a flying lap. It can cause a fucking mess. As Esteban Ocon goes P3. So we've got a Red Bull 1-2 at the minute. Ocon third, Gasly fourth, Norris, Tsunoda, Ricciardo. And here comes the two Haas drivers. So Kevin Magnussen. Go on, Kev. Lad. Comes round the final corner now. Go on, get the fucking gas down. Go on, lad. He's go on, lad. Kevin Magnussen, P2 at the minute. And Mick Schumacher goes P4. So he's Red Bull Haas. Go on, Haas. Haas represent, brother. Go on, Haas. Only 4 tenths off the Red Bull. And here comes Valtteri Bottas, who's gone purple in Sector 1. Oh, there's going to be cats amongst pigeons here. Bottas goes 100th of a second slower than Verstappen. Mate, everyone's in the game. Bottas. Alonso pops ahead of Perez. Mate, Verstappen, Bottas, Magnussen, Alonso, Perez. Yo, the Alfa Romeo's quick, bro. Here comes Leclerc though. 2 purple sectors. Leclerc going to try and put it P1 here. Leclerc on a fucking stormer here. Go on, lad. Go on then. Oh, half a second quicker than Verstappen. Leclerc puts it P1 for Ferrari. Here comes Sainz. Go on, Sainz, then. It's a Ferrari 1-2 with 8 minutes to go in Q1. Verstappen pushed down to third then. Haas still in top 5. Ferrari 1-2. Red Bull third. Alfa Romeo fourth. Haas fifth. Alpine 6th. Alonso with a good lap, putting Alpine in 6th. The other Red Bull, Perez in 7th. He'll be looking to improve. And he's a second off the pace, man. And here come the Mercs now. Here come the Mercs now. What have you got then? What have you got then, Mercedes? Half a second down in Sector 1, George Russell. Hamilton a lot nearer, though. Hamilton a lot closer. I think Hamilton's only a tenth off the pace then in the first sector, I think, which is looking a bit stronger. I tell you what, it's going to be a right random mix, this, I think. You could have like a random Alfa Romeo like P3 or something, or random like Magnussen power lap and bangs it top 5. You could have something mad. You got Pierre Gasly gone purple in Sector 1 now for AlphaTauri. But here come the Mercs then. Russell round the final corner. What have you got? He's doing personal best first and second sector. Here we go. Only 8th. Only 8th. And Hamilton puts it 5th. So 5th and 8th at the moment for Mercedes, which is obviously puts them safe because it's just all about not being in the bottom 5. But 5th and 8th, 5th and 9th make that. 5th and 10th make that. As Gasly pops it P7. So Russell barely in the top 10 early on. Hamilton 8 tenths. I'll just put these on, fuck it. Hamilton 8 tenths off the Ferrari's pace. There's hardly a tenth between the two Ferraris, so Leclerc and Sainz looking good. Come on, Norris. Where's Norris? I don't know if Norris... I tell you what, McLaren is struggling here. There might be a McLaren out in Q1 here, you know. I mean, I hope for your sake it's not Norris, but... Daniel Ricciardo could get knocked out here in Q1. Yeah, so the bottom 5... Yeah, so the bottom 5 at the minute is both Aston Martins. Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren. Yuki Tsunoda for AlphaTauri. And Nicholas Latifi is last at the minute. So we've got 4.5 minutes to go. There's just a bit of a lull at the minute whilst everyone's in the pits. Putting fresh tyres on it. And they're going to go for one last effort to get out of the bottom 5. Valtteri Bottas P4 at the minute for Alfa Romeo. They're quick, man. Where's Zhou? Guan Yu Zhou is, Zhou Guan Yu, 13th. Bottas 4th. What? Just watching a replay of Sergio Perez out of the final corner. Oh, he's right over the curb. Yeah, he might be outside track limits, they're saying. Yeah. Watching Carlos Sainz now, replay around the final corner. Back end a little bit loose. And that's Pierre Gasly. Yeah, they're just showing him going over the curb. The exit the final corner. It's nothing groundbreaking, that. So it looks like Mercedes are going again then. George Russell on another flyer. Green first sector, so personal best in Sector 1 for George Russell. And he's got to go again because he's P10. He's vulnerable. Remember, it's all about being in the top 15. That's all it's about to get through to the next session. So Peter, but the thing is, look at that. He's 7.5 tenths down with 2/3 of the lap gone, mate. Mercedes have not got Ferrari and Red Bull pace. They've just not. There's no sandbags. There's no PR bollocks. There's no funny games. They've not got Ferrari and Red Bull pace. He has put in a better lap there, though. They're still 8 tenths off. He's matched Hamilton, just gone ahead of him by fractions of a second. So it's Mercedes 5th and 6th. Still got the outlier of Valtteri Bottas in P4. I know it's only Q1, but this is madness. There's some sort of madness going on here. I can see some, a Kevin Magnussen or a Valtteri Bottas, or a cheeky Mick Schumacher or something like that, putting the cat amongst the pigeons today. So Daniel Ricciardo now, the pressure's on with a minute and a half to go. He's got to put in a good lap now here. Pressure's on Daniel Ricciardo now. Magnussen's on a flyer as well. And Norris. Oh, I see. Norris's time is a reference just to get out of the... so he's 2 tenths ahead of the time he needs to get out of the bottom 5 is Ricciardo. Crucial for McLaren this now. 15th and 18th at the minute. So you got one car would be out and the other car be right on the bubble if it ended now. So these laps are crucial now. Ricciardo nearly 2 tenths up. It's gonna be there or thereabouts. Crazy, because McLaren were heavily fancied going into this season. Let's have a look there then. Albon puts it P13. Go on, Danny then. Danny Rick only P15. Only P15. Are the bottom 6 out? Have I got this? They've changed it. The bottom 6 get knocked out. What? Drive at risk. They're showing... Oh, I see. No, it is still the bottom 5. They just highlight the driver that's... No, it is still the bottom 5 that get knocked out. Norris put it P6 though. Fair play to the lad. No, it's just saying driver. Yeah, driver at risk is the one highlighted. I was like, it's bottom 6 going out here. But fair play to Norris. He's banged it P6. But Tsunoda's out, Hülkenberg's out, Ricciardo's out, Stroll's out, Latifi's out. Yeah, Albon's just scraped through as Ocon goes P6 right at the end. So, yeah, drivers eliminated then. Yuki Tsunoda in 16th, Nico Hülkenberg 17th, Daniel Ricciardo 18th, Lance Stroll 19th. And last but not least, Nicholas Latifi in P20. And McLaren out in Q1. Sort of predictable in a way. It was sort of predictable, that, really. Especially when he's not had any laps in the final test. Yeah, Hülkenberg's out as well. He's just a sub for Sebastian Vettel. Just for this race. But yeah, he's out. Danny Ricciardo. Danny Ricciardo out. Yeah, Aston Martin. Both Aston Martins in the bottom 5. This was supposed to be a year of progress for them. They were supposed to be marching the way up the grid this year. 17th and 19th. Disaster. What are we saying, lad? K-Mag, innit? K-Mag, what were he? P5 or something? Bottas and K-Mag are the big surprise at the minute. I can see one of them two pulling something out of the bag. It was somewhat unexpected out of the bag, you know what I mean? Mercedes, 8/10 off the pace. Oh, that is going to go down like a sack of shit, that, back at HQ, that. They've come with the fancy car, the fancy no-side pod car. You know what I mean? Looking like a Stingray. They come with the fancy car. And they're fucking well off the pace. Not going to plan, is it? For the 8-time consecutive Constructors' World Champions. Ooh, that's going to sting, that. Lewis ain't going to be happy with this. You know, this was supposed to be Lewis's revenge year. This was the year he was going to be like, right, fucking, I'm going to get it straight back. Nah. It's going to be Verstappen versus Ferrari, essentially. Because unless Perez ups his game, you're looking at Verstappen versus Ferrari this year. Because I reckon Leclerc and Sainz are pretty even. There's not a lot in it between Leclerc and Sainz. So they might win constructors if nothing else, Ferrari. You know, you could be looking at Verstappen winning the championship, Ferrari winning constructors, but I mean, fucking early days, isn't it? We've had one session of one, you know what I mean? And 1/3 of the first qualifying session, so you can't be drawing conclusions. But McLaren have had a bad start there. Aston Martin have had a shocker. Who else you got? Williams as well. They've got this radical side pod design as well. Williams, but they're still at the back, aren't they? Williams. Well, fucking Nicky Latifi is anyway. But you've got a few good surprises in there as well. You know, Valtteri Bottas, mate. New lease of life here. And good old K-Mag. Mate, if K-Mag can put it like top 6, that'll be epic. Oh, I'd love to see Mick Schumacher pull a rabbit out of a hat, mate. I'd love to see Mick Schumacher do well this year. You know, one day I'd love to see Mick Schumacher at Ferrari. I'd love to see that, but he's got to deserve it. Not just because of his name, but because he deserves it. That's the dream for me, that. What are we saying? Refresh the try. Oh yeah, why does it not automatically update? That's bollocks. It should automatically update. That's shit, that. Oh, if you're not on the window, it doesn't fucking do it. Bruh. Oh, this could be a fucking mess. I just thought it'd be decent with the times. Popping behind me, but it's not even going to do it, is it? Because if I haven't got that window open, it fucking doesn't update. I'll have to rig it up. But then the thing is, if I've got that window open, then I can't see the chat. Do you know what I mean? So we should be getting underway for Q2 any moment now. Here we go then. Q2's underway. Alex Albon is out of the pit lane. First out. That's a funky helmet, isn't it, for Daniel Ricciardo? Daniel Ricciardo pulls off the walk of shame. Hey? So, Alex Albon's through, man. Fair effort, that. Especially when his teammates are stone dead last. Fair play to Alex Albon. On his return, of course, he's had a year out after being dropped by Red Bull. But as George moves up now to Mercedes, Albon's back in, taking up George's old seat at Williams. And he's first out of the pits here for Q2. Everyone else just chilling. Chilling in the pit lane at the minute. So who's going to get knocked out here then? I tell you what, if we can get both Haas drivers in, maybe buzzing. It's odd seeing a Haas in 6th. It is recent years, yeah, man. I mean, I think it was 2016. I think it was 16. They were actually out. They were decent. I remember them at the Australian Grand Prix. I think 16 or 17. They were running. They were both cars were like in the top 8, and they did a pit stop, and the mechanics didn't put the wheels on properly. Stupid for both cars. So they did it. So neither of them finished the race, but. About 4 or 5 years ago, Haas were a decent midfield outfit, and then the last 2 or 3 years, they've just collapsed, man. They've been rock bottom, but they might be on the up this year because they sacrificed. The thing about Haas is they sacrificed last year to put more time into building the car for this year because they knew all the teams knew it was a massive reset this year, so they put all the resources and all the time into producing a car for this year and sacrificed last year. So that's why they were absolutely pathetic last year. And this year looking decent, you know what I mean? You know, you can bang it P5, P6. It's worth it for them to sacrifice a year. I mean, that's what Ferrari's done as well. You know, that's what Ferrari's done as well. They've sort of sacrificed last year in a way. I mean, there was still, I think, P3 in constructors, but they've sacrificed a bit last year to come out of the blocks of firing this year, and so far it's looking good, man. So far it's looking good for Ferrari, and don't forget, Ferrari haven't won a championship since 2007. Kimi Raikkonen in 2007 was the last Ferrari champion. So, you know, quick maths. That's like 15 years. You know, without a championship. What? So, it's overdue. Do you know what I mean? Well, Albon didn't set a fast lap time. He just went straight back into the pits. It looks like Magnussen is starting a hot lap now, though. And he is. Magnussen down to turn 4 then. Magnussen obviously going purple, but Verstappen also smashes that. You got a few on hot laps at the minute, both Haas and Max Verstappen first guys on the hot laps here at the beginning of Q2. But we'll see. I can see a big name being knocked out here. You know, you could have a Perez or do you know what I mean, or a Hamilton or something. Do you know what I mean? If they don't hook it up, and everybody else hooks up a perfect lap, you could see a Mercedes. You know what I mean, or like an off-colour Perez lap being knocked out. So Magnussen's first across the line, sets a 1:31.4. Go on, Haas 1-2. Verstappen smashes it by 7 tenths. 1:30.7 for Verstappen. Perez 6 tenths down, man. You can fit a lot of cars in between Verstappen and Perez there, time-wise. There'll be some cars will slot themselves in between that. Zhou Guan Yu, he's well off the pace. 2.7 seconds off the pace. Charles Leclerc. Hey, that's a good lap from Verstappen. Leclerc does split the Red Bulls, but only just ahead of Perez. So Verstappen by 6 tenths over Leclerc. Russell pops up into 5th. Here comes Lewis. Mercedes again 5th and 6th. And the 8 tenths, 7 or 8 tenths off again. 7 or 8 tenths off again. Alonso goes up to 9th. Ooh, Gasly had a great start to the lap. Faded off. Norris goes 12th. Not great, man. Not great. Albon's not set a time yet. He did an outlap. Came straight back into the pits. Don't see what the point in that was, but he's gone out again. So, Magnussen P4 at the minute. Still looking strong, man. Come on, Mick. Schumacher. He's got to improve there. I mean, Mick Schumacher's like... I can't see it now, but I think he's about 6 or 7 tenths. Yeah, Mick's 1.2 seconds off the pace. Magnussen only 7, so he's half a second off his teammate. Nah. You can't be half a second down, man. It's not your rookie year anymore, lad. If he puts it in Q3, oh, mate, you might. BBC Sport will. Shall I refresh the driller? If I don't have the window open, it doesn't update. That's bollocks, that. Unless I take the chat window and drag it onto the... Oh, fuck knows. I worry about that another day. Gonna be teething problems, innit? I'm only just starting with this driller. What's happened with Magnussen? Oh no, problem for Kevin Magnussen in the pits. I missed it because I was waffling over myself. I miss what the problem was, but I miss what the problem was there, but they're taking the front wing off. I don't know if it's something to do with the suspension or the brakes or something. Alex Albon, trying to improve. Well, he's not set a time yet in Q2, so he's trying to set a lap time. Hopefully good enough. It might just be a one shot for Alex Albon this to try and get into Q3, but it's a long shot. It is a long shot. But he can certainly go ahead of Zhou Guanyu and a couple of the others. It doesn't look great though, the Williams. Understeer there in turn 11. It's not quite balanced right, that Williams. He's having to take a few goes at steering it into the slower corners. Yeah. Albon improves to 13th, so he's gone ahead of Zhou Guanyu and Pierre Gasly. But they're likely to improve. Norris also in the drop zone at the minute. Bottom 5 is was just gone off, but I think it's Schumacher. Or is it on there? Schumacher, Norris, Gasly, Zhou and Albon. Hydraulic issue for Kevin Magnussen. I hope they can fix that quickly, because he could be on for a big result today and a great starting position for tomorrow. Judging off what we've got so far. So they're all just getting ready to give it one more lap in Q2, one more final roll of the dice to get into the top 10 shootout. But Ferrari, Sainz needs to improve. Sainz down in P7. Mercedes 5th and 6th. You'd expect Sainz to improve. Alpine 9 and 10. Albon Team Radio. Well, judging by Albon's Team Radio, I think he's finished for the day. Yeah. He sounds like he won't be coming out again. Yeah, so if Gasly and Guan Yu Zhou improve, Zhou Guan Yu for fuck's sake, if they improve, Albon looking like he might start 15th. Everyone's out of the pits now. 2 minutes to go in this Q2 session. Who is going to be knocked out here? Norris has got to improve. Here we go then. Charles Leclerc starting a fast lap. Mick Schumacher there behind him. Go on, Mick. If Mick can get in the top 10, I'll be buzzing. Leclerc 3/10 down on Verstappen in the first section. Mick slightly down on Bottas this time, which he needs to beat to get into the top 10. Come on, Mick. So you've got both Ferraris and Mick Schumacher on a hot lap. And Sainz does need to improve. As you know, a second off the pace. Down in P7, he's in danger, so he's got to improve. Leclerc 3.5 down off Verstappen, so he's not going to put it P1, but it's not that important yet. The final session is for the pole. But it looks like he might improve, but I don't think he's going to improve his position. Yeah. Oh, he's gone purple in the final sector, so he's less than 2/10 down on Verstappen. So Leclerc got pretty close. And Sainz puts it P2. Got very close with 300ths. There's 300ths of a second between Verstappen and Sainz at the top. Bottas has just put it in the top 10. Zhou Guanyu misses out, so 12th at best. Made that 13th as Norris only 12th. So Norris looks like he might be out. Oh, Zhou Guanyu's lost his time for track limits, but Norris is out, man. Alex Albon, yo, what? Yeah, Zhou goes back to the bottom, so Albon's still 13th. Perez fourth, so he's through. Alonso's through. Russell moves up to 5th. Here comes Lewis, 5th. So Mercedes again 5th and 6th. Mind you, it's closer though. It's closer, but then Verstappen only did one run. If Verstappen went out again now with softs, he'd probably put another half second on it. But Pierre Gasly gets into the top 10. Pierre Gasly, P9. So Mick Schumacher out. It looks like Esteban Ocon's out for Alpine. Mick Schumacher, Lando Norris, Alex Albon and Zhou Guanyu. So through is Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, Russell, Magnussen P7, Alonso P8, Gasly P9, and Valtteri Bottas scrapes in P10. I'm not asked about Stockport. F1 season's back away. Do you think I care about football? Oh, good guy, let's. Ooh. So McLaren 13th and 18th. Oh. Not the start of the year they were thinking of. Magnussen's pulled off a block. The thing is though, Magnussen's still in the pits with a hydraulic issue. So he might not get to... Mercedes got a bit closer there. In fact, Hamilton and Perez are only separated by half a tenth, so Mercedes not looking terrible there. Not looking terrible. So there's only one session left. There's only the big session left. The big Q3. Who are we going for pole? I think it's going to be what it was looking like since the beginning. Verstappen versus the Ferraris. But between those three, you know, I mean, the thing is, Perez could bang in a phenomenal lap. But I think it's looking like Verstappen, Leclerc or Sainz. I hope they can get Kevin Magnussen out again. He seems to be stuck in the pits with a hydraulic issue. Hope they sort that out, because fancy getting through to Q3 and then having reliability issues. Nah. Bottas also in Q3, decent effort. I think Fernando Alonso in Q3. Let me go on the ting, and it'll fucking refresh the driller. There we go. There we go, the lads. Yeah, so it was Verstappen. Sainz got very close. Leclerc less than 2/10. And Mercedes improving. Mercedes getting closer. Not the 8/10, but then again, I think Verstappen only did one run, so I think if Max had banged on, which he didn't need to do, so he didn't do, but if he had have banged on a fresh new set of soft tyres at the end of that session and gone for another run, you know, he might have put it another half second clear. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Ferrari did get close. Mercedes in that 5th and 6th spot at the minute. Magnussen P7, but he's got a problem. So will he get out for Q3? I hope so. Who else is through? Yes, we've got Fernando Alonso through. Good effort, the lad. The veteran Fernando Alonso. I used to be a Alonso fan back in the day. Back in the back when he was at Ferrari in like the 2012 days, mate, I were a big Alonso fan, mate. He used to pull it out of the bag, Alonso, in his Ferrari days. He used to drag a car that was like the fourth quickest car on the grid into a championship fight. There's a couple of championships he should have, more championships he should have won, because he's the 05 and 06 champion, Alonso. 05 and 06 champion. He should have won it in 2010 and 2012, Alonso. Well, I say should have. He could have. You know what I mean? He were close. In 2010, he got pipped to the post because he got held up behind Vitaly Petrov in a Renault at the final race of the season. He couldn't overtake him. That gave Vettel his first championship. And then in 2012, that were a mad one. The season finale in 2012, mate. Vettel were lucky to finish. So, Alonso should be sitting on 4 championships, really. I used to be a big Alonso fan. He's still going. I mean, did he have a year out or 2 years out? Doing IndyCar, doing, what else he did? World Endurance Championship. I mean, he won some of them races. He won the Rolex 24 at Daytona in a sports car. You know, he had a good attempt to the Indy 500. I think he led the Indy 500. He didn't win it. I think he had the bloody engine blew up. But now he's back, mate. He's like 39, 40 years old. Alonso's still going, mate. But he were a beast in the day. About 10 years ago, mate. He were a beast. He's still good now. That's why I mentioned him, because he's crept into the top 10. So fair play to him. He's still going at 40 years of age, still being boss mode. Bottas in. So get in. Here we go though. This is where they take the sandbags out now. This is where the full pace is unleashed. Is it going to be Max Verstappen in the Red Bull to start off his championship defence like a dream and bang it on pole position? Is it going to be a resurgent Ferrari, who for the first time since, when was the last time Ferrari were in the hunt? I'd say 2015 they had a good car, but this is the first time I think they've got a potential championship challenging car for the first time in a very long time. Can they beat Max to pole here now? And what are the surprises going to be? Are we going to have a Kevin in P5? Are we going to have a Bottas, breaking the top 6? And how far Mercedes are going to be off it? Let's find out. Here we go. Did Daniel Ricciardo ever practice the GP? No, mate. No. Because even in the practice sessions, the car had reliability issues. So even when he's come back from being ill from COVID, he's come straight back into practice, and the car's sat in the garage with reliability issues. So he's hardly had any laps going into this, Daniel Ricciardo. Hardly any. A handful of practice laps. So it's not really a massive surprise that he's 18th, really. But I mean, what was Norris? 13th, something like that. 13th and 18th. Oh, it's heavy that. That's heavy that. They'd have been really hoping to step it up. I mean, McLaren went quickest, I think, on the first day of the first test in Barcelona back in February. They went fastest on the first day, and everyone were like, whoa, McLaren looking really good. And then since then, they've had a lot of brake issues. But even without the brake issues, the car just looks fundamentally just bang average, innit, at the minute. Looks like they've sorted Kevin's car out, so that's a win. Oscar Piastri looks on, the Formula 2 champion, who couldn't get a seat in F1 this year, which is a massive shame. There should be a situation where the F2 champion is sort of guaranteed a seat, but that's a debate for another day. Piastri looks on, should be racing, but he's not. He's on the sidelines, as the Mercedes are the first to go for it in this Q3 session, the first Q3 session of the year then, for pole position. 9 minutes to decide it. Magnussen will come out onto the track. Get in. Come on. Let's see what we can do here. Well, this is what they're saying now. They're saying Magnussen could cause a problem for Mercedes, and it could. Bottas could cause a problem for Mercedes, could peg them down. You know what I mean? You could have Gasly. Russell not on a bad lap here at all. He's still purple in Sector 1. Go on then, George. This is it, yeah. Minimum fuel, maximum attack, as Martin Brundle says. This is it then. This is the first time you're seeing the real lap time. No bollocks anymore. This is what they've got now. So George Russell are 132.2. And Lewis beats that by nearly 2/10. So 132.1 is the benchmark so far. Here comes Charles Leclerc. 130.7. So Sainz beats that. So Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton and Russell. Here comes Max Verstappen. Crosses the line. Third. Okay, so you've got Sainz a 10th ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. Perez goes ahead of the Mercs. So it's a Ferrari 1-2, Red Bull 3-4, Mercedes 5-6 at the minute. The rest of them hasn't set a time. Gasly's on his fast lap now. But there's absolutely nothing between Sainz, Leclerc and Verstappen in the top three. Half a tenth between the top three. I tell you, Mercedes are 1.5 seconds off the pace. It's a two-tiered system. You've got Ferrari and Red Bull in their own category, and then a 1.5 gap to Lewis Hamilton in 5th. Yo, they're in a different league. They're in a different league. There's nothing between them. Sainz, Leclerc and Verstappen. Separated by a cigarette paper, mate. Nothing between them. This was set up for a fantastic race tomorrow. We're set up for a fantastic season. Verstappen not happy with his the slow laps. What are they doing here? Surely they're going in the pits now. Yeah, they're going. So Sainz quickest at the minute. And as they're saying on the telly, it would be his first ever pole position. Mercedes 5th and 6th. Gasly 7th. Magnussen, Alonso and Bottas haven't set a time then. So Magnussen, Alonso and Bottas will only do one lap. One lap to rule them all. A one shot quali they're doing. They could. I'd love a Magnussen or Bottas or Alonso to just bang it in the top 3 or top 5. Bang. Love it. Absolutely love it. So now's a bit of a lull. They're all back in the pits. They're going to put the last set of fresh soft tyres on. And there'll be one final run to decide the top 10 on the grid for tomorrow's Bahrain Grand Prix. Let me refresh the fucking thing. I can't believe this timing screen doesn't automatically update. That's bollocks, man. You have to keep going refreshing it. What? This is it then. All 10 cars have come out now. This is what we want. They're just saying we couldn't be tied to the top 3. Mate. Half a tenth between third and first at the minute. Everyone piling out of the pit lane now then for one last shot. This is it, man. Oh, on the steady outlaps now. There's only Gasly still in the pits. 2.5 minutes to go. This is it. Who's it going to be? Can Perez pull it out of the bag? How high up can Bottas get or Magnussen get? Can they put themselves in the top 5? Can they get, there's a big gap in between Perez and Hamilton. Can one of these guys at the bottom, they're all out now, Gasly's out. Can one of Gasly, Magnussen, Alonso and Bottas put it P5? Because at the minute there's a massive gap between Perez in 4th and Hamilton in 5th. So, it's not necessarily 5th and 6th for Mercedes. Here we go then for the final laps. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton underway for their final run in Q3 to set their grid position for tomorrow's crucial season opener in Bahrain. Yo, that's weird because it's saying Russell. The time's saying Russell's well off the pace, but it was purple. Let's have a look. Sector 2. This is going to be close, this. You've got Russell, Hamilton and Leclerc all on flying laps now. Russell looks way down. He's saying 1.4 down. George Russell's barely going to improve. Hamilton's gone green in the first 2 sectors. He's looking quicker. Leclerc goes faster than anybody in sector 2. Leclerc looking good. But as there comes the Mercedes. Russell stays 6th. Russell's 6th at best. Hamilton 5th at best. So Mercedes 5th and 6th at the moment. Here comes Valtteri Bottas. Splits the Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas puts in P6. Splits the Mercedes. Leclerc goes pole in a minute. Leclerc puts it on pole position. But here comes Verstappen. 15 thousandths of a second up through the second section. Alonso puts it P7. Here comes back to Verstappen then round the final corner. This is for pole position. It's Verstappen versus Leclerc versus Sainz. Who's it going to be? Max Verstappen misses out. Charles Leclerc's on pole. Verstappen second. Sainz third. Perez fourth. Hamilton fifth. Bottas sixth. Magnussen seventh. Alonso eighth. Russell down to ninth. Pierre Gasly. It's Charles Leclerc on pole in Bahrain. Max Verstappen a 10th back. Sainz and Verstappen so close. Sainz in third. Perez fourth. The first Mercedes in fifth of Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc. Boom. Ferrari 1 and 3. Hello, Jelly. What a session. We are set up for a cracking race tomorrow. Ferrari first and third. Red Bull second and fourth. Whoa. Beast mode tomorrow. Beast mode. The timing screen doesn't update. Wow. We are set for a banger of the Bahrain Grand Prix tomorrow. Well, join me anyway tomorrow for the first race of the season. We're on. Leclerc on pole. Verstappen joins him on the front row. Join me tomorrow for the race.